Main event on Friday. The 3-year-old fillies took center stage, mile and an eighth on the main track, the field for the Kentucky Oaks. There were 14 girls signed on. This was an interesting race from a betting standpoint. You had two horses that dominated. You had Midnight Bisou coming in from the West Coast. You had Monomoy Girl on the heels of a win in the Grade 1 Ashland at Keeneland. And then outside of them, you could have gotten a pretty good number on anyone else. And you had a really, really incredible stretch duel. And it didn't happen to involve both of the favorites. One of them was involved, but it had also an outsider. Ultimately, Monomoy Girl is the one that prevails and gets the job done by a half length over Wonder Godot. A giant effort from her, and a tip of the cap to Dan Illman. Illman has said all along that he goes, Wonder Godot, she's going to run big in the Oaks, going to run big in the Oaks. I keep saying she wants synthetic, she wants turf, she wants synth, she wants turf. She ran her eyeballs out here. That was a big effort. She runs second behind Monomoy Girl, and third is the second, or I don't want to say the second favorite. She was actually the favorite in the race, but the other favorite, the alternative, Midnight Bisou. She goes off just under 5-2, and she is the favorite, and she runs third beneath Mike Smith. Let's talk about Monomoy Girl, the winner of the Kentucky Oaks. She's a 3-year-old filly. She's really done not a lot wrong in her career. She's 6-7 lifetime, never been out of the exacta, over $1.1 million in career earnings. Owned by Michael Dubb, Monomoy Stables LLC, the Elkstone Group LLC, and Bethlehem Stables LLC. Trained by Brad Cox, bred by FPF LLC and Highfield Ranch in Kentucky. Ridden victory by Florent Giroux in the pedigree by Tapazar out of a Henny Hughes mare named Drummette. From a figure standpoint, 97 Beyer speed figure, 125 time form US rating, got the final eighth of a mile in 12:46. Wonder Godot gets a 96 and a 123 time form US rating. Worth noting that the folks over at Timeform US have Churchill Downs main track on Friday as slightly speed friendly, which would have played into the hooves of someone like a Monomoy Girl and even Wonder Godot, because she got into the run early enough with Johnny Velasquez. The third and fourth place finishers came from farther out of it, that being Midnight Bisou and Eskimo Kisses. We'll talk about each one of them more momentarily. Wonder Godot, she got bumped in mid-stretch, popped to her left lead. That she popped over was a product of being bumped. They took a look at it. I don't think there should have been a change. I think it was the right call to leave it as is. It would have needed to be something egregious. To me, that just wasn't. It wasn't like a Byron instance, in the Breeders' Cup Classic a number of years ago where he took a left-hand turn. This was just, it is what it is, unfortunately. I don't think it stopped the momentum of Wonder Godot. I think they both threw it down. And you know what? Even after that little bump, she had every opportunity to go on by, and she didn't, which is another thing that's developing for her that I'm a little bit concerned about, is Wonder Godot developing a little bit of a hang in her. I hate to use the word hang, but you go back between this race, you go back to the Fantasy, where she really had no excuse there. You go back to a couple of the races down at the fairgrounds, where she would loom up and then just kind of flatten out. We're not there yet, not full-fledged. But if she did it again, then I would start to get a little bit concerned. Monomoy Girl, she got turned away by a really, really good horse. I still think Wonder Godot would be better on probably an artificial surface, on the synthetic. And if not synthetic, try the turf. But just something to keep an eye on for her going forward. A big effort and a really good training job by Mark Casse. Midnight Bisou, 91 Beyer, 117 time form US rating. She got sandwiched pretty good at the beginning of this race. It's not the reason that she didn't run any better than she did, but it's something to just keep in the back of your mind. Also worth noting, the connections, the ownership group, they have said it's nothing that Bill Spar did or didn't do. But this filly is no longer in Bill Spar's care. She's going to be transferred over to Steve Asmussen, and the logic behind that is there are bigger prizes on the East Coast for 3-year-old fillies than there are on the West Coast throughout the year. So Midnight Bisou is going to stay at Churchill Downs, and she's going to be going out for Steve Asmussen going forward. I have a horse that I liked her in this race, and I like her even more coming out of it. I think Eskimo Kisses, she lost momentum at a very key juncture in this race. Go back and watch the replay. She's warming up on the inside. She's getting the standard Corey Lanerie ride. And you live by the Lanerie ride, you die by the Lanerie ride. She just got a little bit stacked up at the top of the lane and lost the momentum. I'm not saying that she could have won the race, but I think it would have been a heck of a lot closer. I think she would have run third, and I think she would have been a heck of a lot closer to those top two. There's a race for Eskimo Kisses out there somewhere. I think Ken McPeak's got a good one. She needs a little bit of pace, but there's a race at distances. I'm already thinking Alabama. 1.25 miles. I think there's a race for Eskimo Kisses somewhere. Keep an eye on her. A horse that really, again, she's done nothing wrong in her career, though, is Monomoy Girl. Monomoy Girl, Brad Cox deserves a tremendous amount of credit, and he deserves everyone's sort of attention here, because now he has fully stamped himself on the stage. It was always, when's he going to get the grade one? We got the grade one in the Ashland with this girl. Now he wins one of the biggest races that there is in the world, regardless of gender of the horses. The Kentucky Oaks is a big, big one to file away in your back pocket. Brad Cox has that. He's got a very talented filly in Monomoy Girl. 97 Beyer, 125 time form U.S. rating, winning the Kentucky Oaks.